What's going on? Tectonic Edge here, playing some more Mono Green Tron, and actually I'm just watching myself play some Mono Green Tron. Had an audio issue on this one, so I'm re-recording the audio. It's not going to line up with the video up there, so try and ignore that, otherwise it may get a little disorienting. I'm going to mulligan the first hand, keep the second hand, because that is a very easy turn 3 Tron. All we got to do is find a threat. And we're going to wait and see what our opponent is up to here. It's actually an interesting matchup. One I was kind of hoping to see for a while now. And just got lucky to be recording for this one. I've played it twice now in just test games where I wasn't recording. I'm glad I got one where I actually was recording. Of course, I get an audio issue with it. But that's just how it goes sometimes. So there is the black-red land and to a Goblins. Gives me a pretty good idea on playing the Goblin combo deck, the new one that runs Conspicuous Snoop and combos with Kiki Jiki for a possible turn 3, theoretically a turn 2 kill. Not They won't kill you turn 2, they'll kill you turn 3, but they can have you locked down turn 2. If they need to play Conspicuous Snoop and then have Kiki Jiki just on top naturally. But yeah, we're going to go towards Tron. My first thought after seeing just the land was this was going to be Death Shadow, but proved wrong pretty quickly there. So they're going to swing in for a little bit of damage, and it is something to watch out for because this deck, while it is a combo deck, also runs a backup aggro strategy. So they could either go for the aggro strategy, just try and kill you with damage, or go for the combo kill. And it's not too hard for them to switch between the two. So if they're going for the combo kill, they usually have, especially if it's later in the game, they're going to have a decent number of goblins out anyway. Or if they're going for the aggro kill and they happen to draw the combo, they'll play it and win. Because once they have a decent amount of mana, it's a pretty easy combo to play out on the same turn you play it. They're going to flash out a goblin. Does damage to creatures or planeswalkers equal the number of goblins they have. But since I don't have any creatures or planeswalkers, they're just getting out some more damage and or something to sack to that first goblin, which lets them generate mana. Got Tron now, so all we've really got to do is find another or a threat. And we'd be in a good spot. So Karn would be good because we can start getting rid of things. They're going to play the Goblin Matron, which is going to let them go get any goblin, put them in their hands. I believe they get one that lets them refill their hand. So they're kind of going for the aggro strategy here at the moment. Yep, that one lets them look at the top 4, put any goblins into their hand. So it's a pretty good refill card. Goblin Tribal's got some strong synergies to it. There's a little more damage coming my way, just knocking me down to 17. And we draw another expedition map. There's the tower. Cracking the first chromatic into a land. Well, at least we've got 2 more. Second chromatic time. And we're gonna get, drum roll please, longer than I thought it was, another land. So at this point we just run out the last chromatic. I believe that's a sphere. I've got a mini screen while I'm recording this. It's in my editing screen, so don't have the full visibility on the cards. Gonna play out an expedition map, and I'm gonna go get Jegantha in hand, so we at least have something we can do next turn if we don't find anything else. But this is the point we start getting behind. We have Tron, but no decent threats. We kind of want our planeswalkers here. There's the chain leader, or chain gang leader, or war leader. Text is really tiny, but anyway, yeah. They're going to go reveal the top 4, and put all the goblins in their hand. It's a pretty decent refill here. I believe they get the Conspicuous Snoop off this as well. So we've got about Life-wise, a few turns left, but we're definitely on a clock. There's backup Tron, the complete set. And we're going to crack for green, just get that extra card draw in. Ancient Stirrings, we're going to go for the Ancient Stirrings here because hopefully we can find something a little more relevant. We do not, well, we find a Wormcoil Engine, which is a little bit better than the Jegantha, marginally. We're going to run them out. Play a land, and then pass the turn. And if memory serves, this should be the turn. Yep, Conspicuous Snoop comes out in the field. They've got another of the Flash Goblins out. So they're going to use that, and they're going to deal a good amount of damage to my Wormcoil Engine. So I'm going to end up with the 2 tokens. They're going to sack some goblins to play the Goblin War Marshal. And they're going to hit a land off the top, which is good for us because they can't play that with Conspicuous Snoop's abilities. So we're waiting for them to figure out what they want to do next here. They definitely have a decent board state, but we've got blockers now. So they don't swing in, keeping up their board state more as blockers. I'm going to crack the expedition map, grabbing the blast zone. The Thought Not Saver was nice here because it's just another thing we can do pretty much. We could use the expedition map in hand to go get a forest, run out the Jegantha, but there's no real reason to since we have other plays we can make. My thought process during this time was if I got one more turn, I was going to up Blast Zone to 2 and then be able to pretty much wipe their board state. Most of their goblins were 2, and I would have started. It would have been pretty decent. We see the other combo piece in their hand, which would have let them put a goblin on top. We're going to go ahead and take that out. So that we're hoping that prevents the win on their next turn, but we're just going to pass the turn here. Goblin War Marshal is going to be sacrificed. They're going to get this guy on top. And that means they're going to kill the Thought Not Seer and get to draw a card. Which means they're going to get that land off the top of their deck, and they're going to get a Goblin Matron. Things having flashers, nice. It's their beginning of their turn now. Knowing they have the Goblin Matron, we're going to go ahead and blow the Blast Zone, taking out the goblin that lets them sacrifice other goblins for mana. We're just trying to limit their mana at this point because Goblin Matron was going to let them get, and then they would have been able to play it. But of course, they just find it on top, so they can play the Boggart Harbinger and go get Kiki-Jiki, and the combo starts. That's the funny thing about this deck is it just needs the cards to be, or the combo cards to be on top of the deck. So every time they draw a card, it's another chance they're going to find it and just reveal it off the top. So the top card is essentially treated as another card in their hand. Shuffle effects, though, like a fetch land can be part of the combo. Like it just gives you another chance to change the top card of your deck and find the goblin you need. But yeah, we're going to sit here and watch the combo for a second because it's a pretty interesting combo. It doesn't eat up too much time. Pretty much the way it works is Kiki-Jiki's ability lets him copy a creature. Now, what prevents Kiki-Jiki from just copying himself is it can't target legendary creatures. However, since Conspicuous Snoop is not legendary, but it has Kiki-Jiki's ability, it can copy itself, so it can produce an infinite number of itself. Which ordinarily wouldn't be the worst. They have two ways they can kill you with this, though. One is they can activate this ability on the end step, so the copies don't disappear until the next end step, and they can repeat this until it's right about to go back to their turn, and then they can just produce a lot and swing in. Or as we can see here, they'll use the last one to target Boggart Harbinger, go get the Siege Gang Lieutenant off the top, and then just start sacking goblins to deal lethal. But yeah, those are the two ways they can kill with a combo, and it's usually at its earliest it's a turn 3 kill, but if they have the Kiki-Jiki on top and play the Conspicuous Snoop turn 2, that's a pretty well guaranteed when you see it because it's very hard to disrupt. If you target one of the Conspicuous Snoops, they create another one. So you almost you need a turn 2 board wipe, which is kind of tricky. I think Pyroclasm may be the only thing that did it. So a green-red build may be helpful against this matchup. Luckily, though, it is more of a consistent, if they're going for the combo, going to be turn 3. Although they do need to find the 2 cards to do it. Still, a 2-card win condition is not bad. In terms of the combo, unless we draw creature destruction, we don't really have too many ways to interact with it. Bring in some Nature's Claims here, partially because they bring in sideboard cards, but also partially because they have Aether Vial in the deck. So it makes a good target for that. But we really don't have too many other sideboard cards. I wouldn't mind some more creature hate against this, just because destroying a specific creature can be pretty effective. Although you do have to blow up the Conspicuous Snoop before they put the Kiki-Jiki on top, because they can still activate in response, and then you start dealing with that. Actually, the more I think about it, I may be wrong on the turn 2 thing, just because I don't believe it has haste, so it may still have to wait a turn for activated abilities, but they are definitely a turn 3 kill. We're going to mulligan down till we find Tron, which is nice. Going to pitch the Ulamog. He's a little big for this matchup, and one of the power plants. So we're going to keep Tron plus Karn and Karn. Pretty good hand here. Tron plus backup threats, always good. And it's a good thing I had 2 threats, as we'll see here just in a second. They have decent sideboard cards. Now, I don't know if this is actually a sideboard card. There's a chance they run it main board, and I am getting ahead of myself. That's next turn. Alright, that is Aether Vial, which they definitely run main board. Yep, and they're going to start ticking up on that. So Aether Vial was definitely part of their strategy here. Usually indicates more of the aggro sand. Here's what I was talking about, the Thoughtseize. I'm not sure if this is sideboard or main board. And they're going to get their choice of which Karn they'd rather deal with. So the big Karn would start eating their board state, or the little Karn, which is going to take that Aether Vial out of play. Not really good choices for them. I feel like we're in a very strong position at this point in the game. So look, I'm going to go grab Tron at the end of this turn. It's going to pass to me, and I'm going to play Karn. They could, in theory, activate the Aether Vial here, but they don't, so I don't believe they actually had a 1-drop. And we're going to go grab a card. I'm going to go for Trinisphere here because they're at 2 mana. And they play a lot of 1-2 drops, so shutting them down to 1 card a turn seemed pretty effective, especially since their 1-2 drops usually aren't that powerful on their own. Goblins like to stack up. And they're going to scoop to that. So I'm guessing they kept a 2-lander with the Aether Vial and did not find that 3rd land, so they weren't going to be able to cast anything. I was going to be coming out pretty strong next turn. In fact, I was probably getting Liquid Metal Coating next turn and was just going to keep them off of 2 mana indefinitely. Or 3 mana indefinitely. Some thought about this hand. It was turn 4 Tron with a way to get rid of a creature, but I end up mulliganing it. Might have been correct, might not have been, but it's always the best policy to go dig for Tron. This hand I actually keep. I'm not really sure why I felt compelled to keep this. It had a little bit of dig, it had a Karn. I think it was the O-Stone, really. But I put that Ugin to the bottom here. But being on the draw, I don't want to go down too many cards because of Thoughtseize. That was probably my main reason here. Get the Ancient Stirrings, which is nice. And I don't get Thoughtseize, which is the other useful effect. They're not going to be doing much turn 1 and 2. Running out of Goblin. Oh, yep. That was Conspicuous Snoop. That is right. They get something they can't activate quite yet with it, though. So no activated ability. What I am worried at this point is that they have the turn 3 kill. Because if they have the Goblin Harbinger in hand, that would be game. We do draw the Tron land, so we get 2 Ancient Stirrings for something else. Always nice when you draw into Tron. And we're going to grab a card that's too small for me to read. Karn Great Creator. Yep. So we've got double Karn again, turn 3. We're going to get our choice. We're pretty insulated against Thoughtseize. It's just a matter of, did they have the turn 3 kill with the combo? And luckily they did not, but unluckily they had a kind of the next best thing. It's sideboard card time. So I thought I got a brief moment of hope when they swung here. I figured I was going to get Big Karn out and that would probably control the game. Here comes the Blood Moon. Always a fun card to see when you're playing Tron and only have colored cards in hand, or colorless cards in hand. We draw the Nature's Claim, and this is probably my one mistake here, is I just assume all my Tron lands are mountains from that point. I go for the Oblivion Stone thinking I'll work my way up. But with the Nature's Claim in hand, it would have been better to just have Tron on the field. And we'll see why here in a second. They're going to get a Goblin Matron, which is going to... I thought they were going to go for the combo kill again, but they actually just go get... it looks like they're more focused on the aggro side of the Goblin deck. Yep. And they went ahead and got a card that'll let them blow up the O-Stone. So, and this, as you will see, was my big mistake. I drew a forest. I would have had Tron, so 7 mana. I could have nature claimed the Blood Moon, played the forest, and blew the Oblivion Stone to clear the board state. So I want to go ahead and play the tower. Next best thing I could have done would have been to run out the Karn Great Creator to eat some damage, but I hold it back in reserve. So yeah, playing the mine instead of the tower is definitely cost me at this point. They're going to play that to blow the O-Stone. They do wait till they swing. They're going to sack a Goblin after they get their damage in. So we're at 9. They don't wait for me to get a land. They go to my upkeep and then they destroy the Oblivion Stone. And this is where I somewhat mess up again, although it's pretty much a sealed game at this point. I just I didn't realize it at this point. I didn't have too many ways I could have stopped them, but I did know they had a Siege Gang Lieutenant or Sling Gang Lieutenant in hand, so they can sack goblins to deal damage. So I just go for the Karn and blow up their combo piece. But what they're going to be able to do is swing for more damage and then take me out by sacking goblins. So my best chance probably would have been to have gone for the big guy. But yeah, so something just to remember in the future. If you're playing or trying to decide between one mountain and the other, and one mountain is lets you complete Tron, should the Blood Moon disappear, it's probably better to have the one that lets you complete Tron when the Blood Moon disappears. I think I would have had this game locked up pretty well had I done that. Although it was definitely a low chance or not many forests in the deck, and a chromatic sphere would not have been played to the same effect. So it had to be a forest there. Yep, they get that. They generate 2 more goblin tokens, and they sacrifice them to deal 5 damage. So yeah, that is the goblin matchup. You get to see both the aggro and the combo kills. Let me know what you think of the deck. I'm only got a little bit more time left, so yeah. Thank you for watching. This is Tectonic Edge. Starting out a little too soon. I got a little more time than I thought I did. Takes them a little longer to kill me. But yeah, thank you for watching. This is Tectonic Edge, signing out. Okay, I had more time than that. There's like 5 seconds left. A little more than 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bye.